Live. Our topic is writing task two. Perhaps the most difficult part of your examination. So in the past, when I started teaching IELTS, there were so many candidates who took their examinations multiple times just because they weren't able to get their desired time score for writing. That was the time when nurses in the Philippines planned to go to the UK, and the requirement for UK and Ireland nurses were listening, reading, writing, and speaking, minimum score of 7. But they couldn't get out of this 6.5 fence, couldn't get over it. So I've known someone na naging kumpare ko pa sa tagal niyang nag-review dito. Kinuha na niya ako ninong ng anak niya at nasa US na sila ng pamilya. I asked them, how many times have you taken the exam? To my surprise, nag-UOC pa ako noon 2016. Ay, kasi, totoo na yan. 7 attempt. Now, British Council, the NMC or the Nursing Midwifery Council of the UK, lumapit sila sa IELTS. Sabi nila, huy, wala na kaming nurse. Pwede niyo namang pagbigyan ng konti. Lugi-lugan niyo naman. Diba? Kaya yaman ba natin yan pag di natin sila pinapunta dito? Diba? Hindi naman. So, binabaan nila yung requirement. It now became 6.5 for nurses to be eligible to work as a nurse in the UK. The problem, again, it created more problems. They made the requirement lower, but the British Council IDP standard much higher. So imbes na tahimik yung mga GP sa gilid na nagkumagawa ng writing, nadamay pa sila dahil tumaas yung standard for writing today. Can you picture this out? Na-imagine nyo ba kung paano nangyari? Sabi, babaan, okay, binaba. Pero pinahirapan din nilang makuha yung 6.5. 6.5 now became the new 7. That's why some people would send me their results. Sir, I'm done with my test. Thank you so much. Listening 9, reading 8, speaking 7, writing 5.5. That was very common. So if you have a requirement to go abroad, and the requirement means that you need to get this certain scores, but not lower than this specific band score, na hindi bababa sa 6 or bababa sa 6.5. Doing that now is much harder compared in the past. That's why today, more than ever before, you need to put effort in studying your classes, most particularly the writing subjects. Yes. And again, I will not be making this look or sound easy. I want to be honest with you. Writing, I'll tell you this once and for all, is the most difficult test in the exam. You see, there are a lot of reasons surrounding this notion, surrounding this claim. What the hell is writing the most difficult? Well, one, I can think without knowing about IELTS. I am a regular citizen of the Philippines, and I asked someone, and that someone is me. Poof, I don't have any idea about IELTS. Hey, Kevin, why do you think writing is easy? Why do you think writing is difficult and not easy? Well, because you have to write. Okay? You have to write about something. It could be about anything. I don't know what that something is right now, but I need to write. I need to produce text. I need to generate paragraphs. And that on its own, regardless of what standard are we on, like this is creative writing, this is news writing, this is essay writing, school writing, it's hard because our culture as a Filipino isn't embedded into writing. Hindi tayo masulat. Like, if you compare it to GT letter writing, GT letter writing is the task 1 for general training. So the tasks for GT requires you to write a report, file a complaint, talk about problems that you encountered and you want solutions for it. We're not like that. Right? When was the last time? When was the last time you wrote to someone because you're making a complaint? Like, you're noisy and I was disturbed last week. That's why I'm writing it to you so that you will apologize to me. When was the last time you did that? You didn't even do that. Let alone, we haven't even thought about it, right? Kasi tayo, we are reactive. We are reactive people. That's the truth. Puta ka naman, ingin ka, balibagin ka bahay niya. That's the truth. We're reactive. We don't write. We punch people in the face. Ano tayo? Yung tayo, mga Pinoy. Gawa. So kaya sa speaking, magaling tayo. Sa listening, magaling tayo. Taas natin sa listening. In fairness, national band score, 7. Pucha, minsan gabi, nag-aaway kapit-bahay namin, tahimik ang mag-anak. 1-year-old, 8 months pa na anak ko, pero nakikinig din siya. Daap eh. Saan tayo hindi magaling? Sa writing, saan ka? Sa reading. Baba ng reading natin. So that's in our DNA. Diba? It's in our DNA. Wala tayo magagawa doon. That's the default setting. Now, you want high band score, right? Sumagot naman kayo. Alam ko ba reactive kayo? Pag-aral, tamad na tamad. Pag tara, sumagil tayo, tara! Gigil na gigil pa. Oh. Tara, inuman, tara! Di ba mataas sa band score? Siyempre. Oh, so if this is the default, what are you going to do? Do something about it. Okay? Do something about it. So magaling magluto, practice. What about how you do with what you're given with? I know some people are damn talented. I've encountered so many people na sabi ko, alam mo, di mo na kami kailangan. Teka lang, teka. You don't need us. Take lazy. Very honest. May ganun tao. Siguro isa sa 100 may ganun. And I was never wrong about my intuition because I've been doing this for the past 8 years. Going 9 next year, February. Tagal na. Isang dekada na ako dito. Writing always disappoints. It always disappoints. There's some hard shit we have to deal with. No one is safe from the wrath of whatever topic your writing task would be about. So I want you to be fully prepared for it. And this is one step, not all the steps. This is just one. Attending classes. Step 1. And I'm glad that you all were able to make it despite being late. I'm still mad at you about it, though. Writing task 2. So, sir, does it mean you have another task to do? Well, you're a genius. Your writing subtest as a whole is divided into 2 tasks. your task 1, which is letter writing for general training. May you see the hands of GP? GP? Wala? GP, isa lang? Lahat kayong akad na? Pucha, totoo? Task kami ng akad. Sorry ka, wala ka pang idea? Ala pa? Saan pupunta? New Zealand. What purpose are you going to use your IELTS for? Akad ka, shit, puta, ang dami nyo. Damn. That's why I'm not feeling it today. The vibe, the energy in this room has turned negative. I'm kidding, but I'm not. You see, academic has it much more difficult than GT. Huh? Isa lang talaga. Hindi ko, joke lang. Pero may kakamte ko. Kasi akad mo, tinuturing ko yung kaaway eh. So, ayun. Kasi akad po ang pinaka-matitigas ang ulo sa lahat. Hindi ko pa kakilala person pero ang tigas ang ulo mo, tigas ang ulo mo, tigas ang ulo nyo lahat. Yun eh. That's the reason. Academic writing task 1 is going to put you through a lot of difficulties. First, your writing task 1, again, this is not a writing task 1 major, but let me just give you an idea, slight idea about it. Your task 1 is divided into 2. It can either be a process or static. Static statistical report could either be 4 of the following, or sometimes a combination of 2 or 3 of the following. Line graph, bar graph, pie chart, table. So when was the last time you guys have encountered numerical systems in a graphic information that you have to write a report about? Again, we haven't even encountered that shit in our lives. That's what makes it difficult. Di man na tayo na-introduce sa concept na yun to begin with eh. And let alone you're asking me to write a statistical information. That could be a really problematic scheme if you ask. Again, I'm a person, regular individual. I don't know anything about IELTS. You want me to identify how difficult task 1 could be? Yes, that's difficult because I don't know how to deal with that shit. Now, the other is process. Alam niyo ba, sa pagtuturo ko ng task 1 ng akad, ang daming hirap na hirap sa process. But in reality, like pucha, pag na-master niyo yun, pakadali ng process. Imagine, you have to write a statistical report about the process of how sardines become canned sardines. Like we have the ship here, then we have the net, and sardines are put in a conveyor belt. Afterwards, they become inside the cans. To explain that step by step. First step is afterwards, they became as a result. In the end, that's it. That's your process right there. It's not, it's just have to write the picture into how come so many people are having tough times dealing with that? Diba? So sometimes I couldn't figure people out. Because again, guys, ito hindi naman nagigets. Dali niya eh. Mahirap ka. Eh, sa klase ko ng process, pag na-encounter niyo yung academic, then, ito lang pala yung mga gagamiting connecting words. Sentence per sentence, paragraph per paragraph. This is how you do introduction. We have a default introduction. Then, students will have their writing tasks checked. Yet, it disappoints. That's why, academic, di ba? Hindi na ako masyado nag-expect eh. GT, on the other hand, GT, you just have to write a letter in response to a situation. Let's say, on the informal standpoint, ito yung issue, ma'am ha, ito. Punta ka daw sa kaibigan mo, nanood ka ng sine, sabi yung kaibigan mo, kaibigan lang ba talaga? Charot, no? Naiwan mo yung jacket mo. Tapos, ipapasoli mo yun sa kanya. Sinadya mo yun eh. So, iwan ko yung jacket. ina mo, kahit ka landi, no? Papasoli. So yun lang yung content ng letter mo, doon lang siya iikot. So everything that is in your letter for general training is fabricated. Walang totoo doon. Imagine, merong task sa GT letter na encounter ko before. Magsusulat daw sa uh, homeowner, sa nirentahan mong bahay, sa landlord, nasira yung heating system nila sa bahay. Buwa ka ng ilang shift, na napunta ka ng Baguio, walang heating system doon. At magpunta ka ng Tagaytay, walang heating system doon. Hindi tayo naka-encounter heating system sa Pilipinas. Aircon, baliktad. So yun yung topic mo. That's what you have to deal with. And it's easy. You have templates. You just have to follow it. For academic, every Tuesday, huy, academic, tulungan niyo may sarili niyo. Every fucking Tuesday, we have a replay lecture about your task. Why did I put that in a replay lecture instead of a live lecture like this? Kasi nyo, pinapaulit nyo, papanoorin nyo. At paulit-ulit nyo nang papanoorin, ha? Parinig ko lang. Paulit-ulit din ako sumisigaw doon. Uy, yung introduction nyo. Two sentence, two sentence, two sentence, two sentence, two sentence. Academic writing task on table, Tuesday. Ito yung video. Grabe. Sa part 1 pa lang. So this lasted for 2 hours and 14 minutes. No? Nasa intro na ako. I-discuss yan. Panoorin mo lang. On your own pace. At home, at a cafe, in a park. Watch it. Absorb it. Hindi natandaan. Ulitin mo. Teka, wala ako sa mood ngayon eh. Mamayang gabi. Lakad ako mamayang gabi. Bukas. So yung topic, nandun lang. Ang tanong, anong ginawa mo doon? Sa topic na yun, kinunod mo ba? Hindi, di ba? Oh, tawa-tawa si sir eh. Di ba? You have to be honest. You have to start somewhere. If this is your start, it's fine. But I'm letting you know, next Tuesday, this will all be a renewed cycle. Task 1 na naman ni Kakay. Tapos minor lecture na naman sa Miyerkules. Coaching na naman sa Thursday. Lecture sa Friday. Lecture sa Saturday. The next week, yun. Magkasama kompleto nyo lahat ng essentials. Yun. Task 1 pa lang po tayo. Sa task 1 pa lang. Again, task 2 is the most difficult shit here. The trickiest part of your task. Just getting started. Welcome to your writing task 2, which is the most difficult task in the whole IELTS subject. The topic that I will cover is on the do you think the advantages outweigh the disadvantages side? What does this mean? Well, first, let us identify this topic. In your exam, which if you watched the replay yesterday, have you? Sort of. You skim through it. You put it in the background like you're doing something. How you deal with the lectures, replayed lectures, just as long as you get a glimpse of it. So in my previous lecture yesterday, the replay lecture I posted yesterday, it talked about the variations in writing text. And the do you think the advantages outweigh the disadvantages is one of them. So meaning, if you want to get the full experience, okay, are we on the same page here? If you want to get the full experience, yesterday's lecture is not enough. You have to allot specific time, whether you are here at the branch or joining us over Zoom or watching the replay, for the individual topics. That was just a compilation, introducing the concept to you. But do you think the advantages outweigh the disadvantages? The reason I put it during November, there's a reason. They appear more often during the last quarter of the year. So we wouldn't expect this lesson to be included in the list of our lessons for the rest of the year. Ito na siya, last na for this 2024. 2025 din na to ulit na encounter. So now, based on my experience, I've been teaching IELTS for the past 8 years. And do you think the advantages outweigh the disadvantages? It's a pretty new description. So what's the problem with a pretty new concept? Something came up. Diba? It's pretty new. It's a fad. How do we deal with it, right? Get the point? Hindi pa natin siya masyadong kabisado kasi siya yung pinakabata. Actually, this has existed since 2006. Do you think the advantages outweigh the disadvantages since 2006? The problem was British Council and IDP hadn't yet fully recognized that this is a separate entity. Because in the past, we use a combination of the you agree or disagree format and open-ended. So we combine them, then advantage or disadvantage format yields the result. The problem is, some people will be, alam niyo yun, pag naglagay ka ng isang pampalasa sa pagkain ng sobra, pag nasobrahan na overpower niya, nagets na siya. So do you think the advantage outweigh disadvantage? Hindi natin alam kung paano ba yung tamang timpla ng halo ng agree-disagree sa open. Nagets niyo yung point. That's why in 2018, which is very recent, ilang taon pa lang, 6 na taon pa lang lumipas, they adopted that do you think the advantages outweigh the disadvantages must have its own identity. And that is exactly what I am going to teach to you guys today. What is, do you think, the advantage outweigh the disadvantage question? And how do we deal with it properly? Because now it has its own identity. So, these are our objectives. Basically, to get you introduced into writing, for you to know the parts of writing and how to write your own essay during your practices. So, good luck with that. This is the most difficult task. Again, this is a repeat information I gave a while ago. You will be given an opinion here, perhaps an argument, or even a problem, and you have to write an essay in response to whatever description is available. And then you have to write an essay upon it. Now, this is a newly recognized format. So meaning, this is pretty new. We're still... So, it has been for 6 years. Hindi siya ganun kabisado pa natin as compared dun sa mga nauna. Na 2006 pa lang, may existence na. Alam na natin how to deal with them. So, we have been dealing with the other 4 types of descriptions for the past 2 decades. Sa 20, ilang taon na ito? 18 years na naming dinidil yung iba. Pero ito, 6 years pa lang. So, medyo bata-bata ito. So, how are you expected to complete your essay? Well, naturally, there are some guidelines that you have to follow. First, you have to remember that writing task 2 is also known as formal essay writing. So when you say formal, this must be away from any personal narratives. So you must avoid a storytelling-like structure here at all. Bawal. When I was young, adopt me. Diba? When my friends and I were singing Christmas Carol, kukwento, di ba? Avoid narratives. This is formal. So avoid magazine-like structure. Avoid mga jilly-jolly type of structures. So formal. First, let's define formal. Formal is what we do as a structure on a university terms. So pag nasa college ka and your instructor, your lecturer asks, hey, write a reflection paper on this. This is similar. Okay, it has a similar feel. Again, they are not exactly alike, but the way how you compose sentences, the structures. So imagine, some people still up to this day, na nag-elementary, nag-high school, nag-college, hindi nila alam na when you want to write a formal composition, you write more passive sentences than active ones. Diba? So again, what is active sentence? What is passive? This is grade 5. When I was in grade 5, I was introduced to the concept. Now, you know, yung mga bata, mas maaga silang na-introduce sa concept ng gano'n. Kasi, kids, sabi ko, yung problems namin sa subject, transitive verb, direct object ng grade 4, grade 2 pa lang may gano'n na sila. Nakamangha. Nakakalungkot at the same time because ang hirap ng pinag-aaralan na very early on. Unlike us, na pwedeng talim-talim lang tayo ng kalbusang kamote, dilig-dilig lang, no? Yan, hugot-hugot lang ng santal, text-text, touching-touching, kaya ganyan kayo ngayon. Yun yung kasi inaaral. Alright. So moving on, what I mean here is that when you understand the voice of the sentence, like we have the subject, transitive verb, direct object, we have the subject, intransitive verb, they're both in the active voice. Now, if you do a transition, if you flip it from heads naging tails, yung direct object lalagay mo sa umpisa, gagamit ka madalas sa mga by. No, kasi yung noun mo or yung subject, mapupunta siya sa dulo. Example. Only female mosquitoes bite people. That is an active voice. Because if you analyze the sentence, only female mosquitoes, this is your subject, bite, who does the biting? The mosquito. And then, who is bitten? By the mosquito. Now, if you transition it into passive, yung people mapunta sa una. People bite mosquitoes, di ba? It doesn't make sense. So you don't do passive voice like that. Nagamit ka ng be verb, which is kung kanina naka present yung tense natin, only female mosquitoes bite, that is your subject verb agreement. Plural subject, plural verb. Now we have the people, which is plural, in present, are bitten by female mosquitoes. So you use more of these type of sentences. So for example, people use computers for their research. So gagawin mo siyang passive for their daily tasks and even research. Computers are used by people most of the time. So that's how you do sentences now to make it sound more formal. Again, I'm not implying na lahat ng voice of the verb must be like that. All I'm trying to say, if that is the theme that you want to imply for the rest, that's the tone that you want to go through the rest of your essay, you have to use more passive so that it can overpower the active, leaving this taste of formal. Since according to our elementary grade English, formal sentences, they sound more formal if they are passive. So consider that. Okay? So you have to write 250 words. Again, this is part of the instruction. Like I'm telling you, hey, buy me a McDonald's burger without pickles. Okay. You came back. You brought chicken burger with pickles on top and pickles below. Is that what I ordered? What would I feel? What would I feel? I asked you to buy me something, and you bought something that is not what I asked you to do. I will be disappointed. This is what examiners would feel. Hey, I told you. Like, you have to write 250 words. Then you submitted 249. What? Of my instruction. So they're very particular with the number of words. Okay? They're very particular with the number of words. I'll tell you this. So if you miss even one word, if your essay is even one word short of 250 to 49, from 200 to 249, you will get an automatic task response score of 5. And you guys are here because you don't want to get a 5. Can you imagine that? Your essay is flawless, grammatically accurate, your lexical resource is deep, your coherence and cohesion is on fire. Yet, you failed at the task response level. You wrote one word short of 250. Sorry, here's my hammer. Bam. 5. Task response. Usapan. So now, here's the question. How can you get a high band score if you will not be able to reach this number of words? It's impossible. It's impossible. Simple as that. Now, let me show something to you. Huh? During my stay here in Cabanatuan, no? During my stay here in Cabanatuan branch, I've only witnessed 2 people who got score of 8 in writing. 2. Now, if we add one of my students who got an 8 after recheck, then that makes them 3. Ilan daw po? Ilang katao po nakakuha ng 8? Maliwanag po ba? Again ha, 3. Ilang libo na po ba naging estudyante natin? Na 7,000. Both here and abroad. Now, is 3 in 7,000 a high chance? Taas ba? Hindi. Bawa, may in 3 in 7,000 chances ka mabubuhay bukas. Baba na. That's 0.0021 chance. It's very low. Ganun lang pong kabihira may maka-8 sa writing. Gano'ng karami na po ang naka-9 sa listening? 1,000. Ilan na naka-9 sa speaking? Nasa 500. Ilan na naka-9 sa reading? Siguro mga nasa 4, 300. But writing, wala. Wala ang naka 8.5 eh. 8 na po ang pinakamataas sa branch natin. That is just a testament of how writing is indeed the most difficult among the 4 subtests in the IELTS. Getting an 8 in writing in this branch is 3 in 7,000 chances. And yung isa doon taga Iloilo na neurosurgeon, yung isa taga Sri Lanka pa na medtech. Isa lang doon yung taga dito sa Nueva Ecija talaga, taga Gapan pa. 2020 and 2021. Si Algero, yung neurosurgeon na nagpa-recheck from 7.5 naging 8, 2017 ko pang estudyante. So from 2020, 2022, 2023, 2024, wala pa ulit naka-8 dito sa branch. Now, imagine niyo ha, imagine lang po natin, kasing galing natin sila. No? Kasing galing natin silang 3. Wow!
Imagine yun, guys. No? We are as good as them. There are 4 areas in writing that examiners check. Again, yung task response, yung number of words, yung coherence and cohesion, yung lexical resource, yung words, at saka grammatical range and accuracy. GRA. Now, kasing galing natin sila. So meaning, we will put their scores, which is 8, sa 3 areas, except task response. Kasi nga, you need to imagine, kasi galing natin sila, pero 249 lang yung words mo, kinapos ka ng isa. Anong automatic score daw sa TR? 5. So if you add all these together, 5 tsaka tatlong 8 equals 29. Di-divide po yan by 4. Diba? So 29, divide natin sa 4, 7.1. Okay? Kasi 28 divided by 4 is 7. 7 times 4, 28. May gutal kang piso, 7.14. Round down, so ang band score mo ay 7. Pero, dahil under length ang iyong essay, meron yan penalty na 1. Magiging 6. Ibig sabihin, kung kasing galing mo, yung 3 in 7,000 legendary performances na 8, ang pinakamataas sa score na pwede mong makuha, kung kukulangin ka ng word, kulang na ng isa, is 6. The highest possible score you could get. That is why I keep on telling you, if you want a high band score, task response is your key. Write more than 250. We're looking at around 270 to 320 words. We don't want you guys pushing further than 320 because you still have a writing task 1 to deal with. Again, we need to do 2 tasks in 1 hour. And my suggestion, my recommendation is you do task 2 first because task 2 is much more critical. Task 2 requires more of your effort. You are still fresher before you deal with task 1, which is easier in comparison to task 2. And the main reason, task 2 carries more weight. Task 2 will give you 2 times the score. So before you add your scores to get your actual writing band score, writing task 2 multiplied by 2 plus writing task 1. So imagine you get 8 in task 2. So drawing ko ulit yan. Imagine you get 8 in task 2. Diba? Task 2 mo is 8. So you multiply it by 2. Ano yan? 16. So ang writing task 2 score mo talaga ay 16. Plus, bagsak ka sa task 1 kasi hinuli mo pagod ka na. 5 lang nakuha mo. You add these 2. Ilan? 21. Di ba? O divide mo sa 3 para makuha yung average. 7. Pero pag pinagbaliktad mo yan, mababa pa po yan sa 6. If you flip the situation. Kung naka 8 ka kay task 1, naka 5 ka kay task 2, 18 divided by 3, this is 6. Malaki ng difference. So task 2 really is the one that pulls your score up. So we do task 2 first, we do task 1 last, making sure that each of those will be written with the adequate amount of words prescribed by the examiner. 250 for task 2, 150 for task 1. Clear? Okay pa tayo? Good. Nasa ano pa lang tayo ha? Technicalities. Wala pa tayo sa pagsusulat. I'm just introducing you the concept. Okay? Sir, 40 minutes kay task 2. Bakit? Di ba 1 hour? Ilang minutes sa isang oras? 60. May 2 tasks ka. Bakit 40 minutes kay task 2, 20 minutes kay task 1? Well, to answer it, writing task 2 requires you more time to finish because writing task 2 requires 250 words. Whereas writing task 1 only wants you to write with 150. So meaning you need to spend more time on something that you are essentially going to use more time for, which is more words to finish. And to begin with, it's more difficult than the task 1. So than the other. That's it.
Do you think the advantages outweigh the disadvantages? So if you look closely, the way how we deal with advantage versus disadvantage is we give and justify the opinion, and we evaluate advantages and disadvantages. Now, some of my students, sabi nila, oh sir, parang parehas yan sa agree-disagree. Totoo, wala po nagtanong yan. Imagination ko lang. Ano? Yes po, tama po ang observation niya. Medyo may pagkakahawig po sila. But the question is not about whether you agree or disagree with a particular idea. Because essentially, the question is answerable by yes or no. So any question that begins with do, does, or did, it's answerable by yes or no. Do you eat spicy food? No, no eat. Do you like watching horror movies? No. If you answer yes, then you have to explain. That's it. Anything that has do or does or did at the beginning of a question, we call it the tag question, is answerable by yes or no. So simply, by definition, your advantages versus disadvantages is also known as your yes or no. Simple as that. Okay? So this is your task accomplishment, your task response. Your arguments, ideas, and evidence you present here will be discussed. If you misinterpret or omitted even one part of the question, like the topic is about drug use, youth drug use, and you mentioned about the advantages, disadvantages, etc., drug use, but not mentioning a single thing about the youth, young people, walang nakita. One word lang, you still fail the task accomplishment level because one part of the question was not incorporated in your discussion. So you have to analyze everything. Relevant ideas and opinions. Diba? Meron kasi tayo tinatawag mga blankong opinion. Yung opinion na wala sa wisyo. Oh, yeah, kasi ganito eh. Bakit? Wala ka naman paliwanag. So there should always be an opinion. Your opinion should always be backed up with evidence. So if you want to get evidence, if you want to get ideas, if you want to improve this ability of attaining the more than 250 word requirement of examiners, you have to read. Read what? Read three things. First thing you have to read, sample questions. Where can you find the sample questions? I will post it on the orange book PDF form. On the writing section of that PDF, parang nasa 90 plus page yun. Page 51 to page 64, about 14 pages. Puro tanong, 146 questions. Sir, why are you letting us, why are you even recommending us to read past questions? Bakit kaya? May idea ka, sir? Why? Bakit ko pinababasa sa inyo mga dating? Dahil yung pa rin kung matapos. Sila pati. Talaga ba? Ganun ba? Okay. So, meaning, kung napaghandaan mo na yung 146 questions na yun, na-idea ka na kung ano yung lalabas sa exam. May mga papagumit silang isa, dalawang salita. Yun pa rin yung context. Sila pa rin. Yun pa rin yung context. So what are you going to do upon reading the questions? May assignment ka habang minabasa mo siya. It's for you to segregate. Para di-segregate ka ng nabubulok sa di nabubulok. When you segregate, what happens? You segregate what you know from what you don't know. For example, question, alam ko na to eh. Kung ngayon ang exam ko at tinanong sa akin itong question 1, kaya kong pumasa. Kung ngayon exam ko, tinanong sa akin yung 2, kaya kong pumasa. Hanggang 36, wait lang, yung 37 parang ang crazy nung dating. So, dun mo na ngayon pupunta sa step 2. Magbabasa ka ulit. Ano naman? This time, newspaper articles. In English. Baka naman vulgar, tik-tik ang binabasa. Anong silbi nun sa IELTS preparation? Ang mga binabasa, mga Facebook chika, nagalikan daw si Sue Ramirez, tsaka si Pling naman. Updated na updated kayo. Pero sa mga recent questions sa exam, hindi masyado. So, anong part ng newspaper po mabasahin? Letter O. Part ng newspaper? Letter O? Anong obituary? Opinion section. Why? Because your writing task 2 is constructed in a similar fashion. It should be an argumentative type of discussion. Kaya makakapulot ka doon ng mga proper sentence structure, makakakuha ka doon ng mga ideas tulad ng paggamit ng mga words, and at the same time, you are improving your stock knowledge about a certain idea. And third, read sample essays. Nasaan yung mga sample essays? Bibigay ko po yan later, nandyan sa PDF na to. So, everything that you are seeing on your screen in front, yan po i-convert ko sa PDF. At i-click nyo lang siya through my Google Drive. If you want to download it, fine. If you want to print it, go. Pero soft copy yan. Lahat nung nandyan, nasa dito. Andyan may mga sample. Kung napisakin, 3, 4 ata sample. So that you can ensure that when you do a task, medyo may pagkakahawig sila in terms of structure. That's what I want you guys to understand. Okay? Did you know that 1 in 5 Filipino test takers submit their writing tasks under? That is the reason why 9% lang po ng populasyon natin sa Pilipinas na nakakakuha ng 7 as a first time. 9%. Right? Mataas ba yung 9%? Hindi Okay, mag-toss coin tayo ngayon. Pag tumama ako, papatayin kita. Pero 9% lang yung chance mong tumama. With 1 in 10 chances? Isa sa 10. Siyam panalo ko, isa lang chance mong tumama. Tumaba yan. That is because of lack of preparation. And you guys are different because you are here preparing. So we are now removing this element of surprise in the equation. You know how to do this properly. Unlike them, sabak lang sila sa gera, hindi nila alam sino kalaban. So 1 out of 5 submit their tasks under length. We don't want to suffer from the same mistakes they did. So what are you going to do then? Read. Read questions, read newspapers, read samples. Be careful with samples, ha? We don't want you guys reading samples online. Yung mga naki IELTS list, IELTS advantage, ayaw natin. Bakit may template kasi yun? Kasi sa boxes na ginagamit ng examiners to assess your performance, meron dong memorized. So pag nakita nila na ginagamit mo yung template online, dahil kilala nila yung template, your essay suffers from originality. So walang originality, hindi genuine ang iyong arguments, therefore copied. Therefore, this is templated, constructed using the templates given online. So therefore, babawasan ka din nila dito through the memorized box. Sa coherence and cohesion naman siya papasok. That's why kung babasa ka ng sample, mga samples na po. Nagkalat naman po yan sa dito. Okay? Alright. So ito po yung sample task description. I just want you to understand that. So we have this. The threat of nuclear weapons maintains the world peace. This is your background statement. Nuclear power provides cheap and clean energy. This is now your prompt. And then we have the actual instruction. Do you think that the benefits of nuclear technology outweigh the disadvantages? Bring us the instruction. Total number of sentences in your task description as a whole is 3. So you have to consider it. Sometimes your background statement, this first sentence right here, and the second sentence is fused into one. So quite commonly, you just encounter 2-sentence task description, which is your background statement plus prompt together in one sentence, and then you have your actual task instruction. So I still have some more. We have the people now have the freedom to work and live anywhere in the world due to the development of communication technology and transportation. Then I have do the advantages of this development outweigh the disadvantages. So another marking that examiners use for their assessment is the coherence and cohesion. Actually, our national band score for task description in the Philippines is 5.8. Nationally on band score. But for the coherence and cohesion aspect, this is actually 5.3. This is the lowest performing part of Filipino test takers. Coherence is the paragraphing, how you arrange your ideas into paragraphs, and how logically are they arranged. Diba? Kung gaano sila katamang isinalpak doon sa part na yun. So, it means that you are going to split your essay into functional parts. And each of those parts, kaya nga siya functional, has its own function. Your introductory paragraph introduces the concept. If this is under the opinion type, which is exactly what do you think advantages of the disadvantages is under as well. Therefore, you must have a stand in your first paragraph. Specifically, during the last sentence of your first paragraph. If you put it elsewhere, examiners will consider your assessment, your composition as coherent. Now, for the paragraphing, since this is under the opinion category, you must produce 3 paragraphs for the body and 1 concluding paragraph summarizing everything, bringing a closure to everything. So therefore, in hindsight, you have a total of 5 paragraphs for this type of introduction, body paragraphs 1, 2, and 3, and the concluding paragraph. Now, for the coherence, yun po si coherence ha. Makinig, coherence, paragraphing, coherence, 5 paragraph. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Walang iba pa, hindi pwedeng mabawasan, hindi pwedeng madagdagan, 5 lang po. Bold this time. Hindi pwedeng alisin yung isa, maging bold is 4 na lang yan. Okay? So, 5 po sila ang kailangan. Now, that is just the coherence aspect. Remember, in their assessment tool, nakalagay yan as a CC. The other C stands for cohesion. And what is cohesion? Cohesion means cohesiveness. Cohesion means you split your essay into paragraphs, but you also have to connect them to show. Again, look at the word I'm using. To show that there are connections between your ideas. And how are you going to show? Of course, you will need some tools to help the examiners visualize. Ipakita talaga sa kanila na, hoy, ito na pala ako sa lugar na to kasi ito may palatandaan. May marker ka. Ang tawag natin doon ay discourse markers or otherwise known as cohesive devices. Kung gusto mo makita ang cohesion, makita mo siya. Gamit ang mga salita. Gusto mo ipakita na itong lugar mo sikat sa ganito. Parada mo siya dyan. I-display mo siya. Di ba? For example, kahapon, sa aming Pampanga, dito na ba tayo sa Angeles? Kasi dami-dami ng parol. Gets nyo yan? Tapos, natutulog ako sa biyahe. Dito ng silid. Nandito na tayo sa Aliaga. Kasi napakakalutag na. Di ba? Lantag Ang lagay sa lahat at nakakit sinik. Okay? Ito na para tandaan. So, examiners, they are looking for markers. They're looking for clues on how well you use cohesive devices. Sa discourse markers po, no? If you want to add, gumamit ka ng words para sa add. Like in addition,
Furthermore, moreover, kung two things happening simultaneously in timeline, pareha sila nangyayari, meanwhile, pwede din. No? This means that the previous idea you mentioned and the next one that you are now going to mention is equal. Clear? Okay. And if you want to show contrast, it's also easy. Then say in contrast. On the contrary. On the other hand. However, I'm not a huge fan of words like nonetheless or nevertheless, because look at how crazy you have to spell them. What if you forgot this extra E, mali pang spelling yan. Mamali pa siya sa coherence and cohesion as well. So two birds in one stone. Dalawang mistake na siya agad. So you have to be careful. On the other hand, kaya mas madalas natin itong gamitin kasi apat yung words niya. Diba? So kung 249 ka kasi naka nevertheless ka, kung on the other hand mo yun, naka 253 ka sana. Sayang. Diba? Okay. Now, you also have to use words that need to introduce content. For example, sa example, kailangan mo rin gumamit ng words yan. For example, for instance, to illustrate. One good example of this is, that's 6 words. Nakuha po? Yan. Sa dulo, sa conclusion, gagamit ka rin ng mga discourse markers like conclude, in conclusion, in general, in summary, to summarize. Ayaw po natin yung to sum up kasi masyado siyang informal. Remember ha, pag gumamit ka ng mga prepositional phrases, which is basically a combination of verb and a preposition, sum up, came up with, diba? Do over, they are informal. So you have to use other terms instead. Instead of saying do over, repeat na lang. Get over, accomplish. Sum up, to conclude. Pwede naman pala. Bawal po yung therefore I conclude ha. This is not thesis statement. Okay pa? Clear? Should I expect your compositions to produce words like this? Well, I should, because if you're not going to show these words, examiners would not notice them, therefore bringing your cohesive marking for the coherence and cohesion aspect lower than expected. Bababayan ng husto. So, pakigamit po, parang awa nyo na. Dahilan kaya ko po ito itinuturo kasi nga gusto ko kayong gamitin yun dahil kabubuti nyo yun. Okay? My mom went to the supermarket yesterday to buy groceries. Afterwards, she made sure that the groceries are put in their proper places. This is an example of discourse markers. I used afterwards to show that something happened first and then this one happened next. Nagets siya, hindi siya sabay. Okay po? Pag sinabing meanwhile, sabay siya nangyayari. For example, my mom went to the supermarket yesterday to buy groceries. Meanwhile, my dad went to the electronic shop. Sabay nangyayari naman. Nakuha po? Okay. So this is how you arrange coherence and cohesion. So introduction, blah, 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 and then stand. Tapos body paragraph 1, this is the advantage. Body paragraph 2, this is the disadvantage. Body paragraph 3, this is the disadvantage, and then conclusion. We have a question here. Permission to leave. Okay, Myra, you may. So to continue, ito po yung mga words you can choose from. Again, nasa PDF na po ito mamaya. Nakalista na. 5 ang pwede niyong pagpilian. Hindi ka mauubusan. If you want to show contrast, ito, 6. Hindi ka mauubusan. No? Time expressions. Ayaw po ng examiners ang word na nowadays. Bakit? 2018, may 200 test takers sa Cebu. Halos lahat gumamit ng nowadays. Isa lang po nakakuha ng 7. Isa lang po ang hindi gumamit ng nowadays. So kaya, parang sa
Alisin nyo na yung nowadays sa vocabulary nyo. At gumamit ng mga pamalit. Tulad ng in this present time. Di ba, apat pa? In this day and age, yan, paborito yan. In this present time, in this current era, mga ganun, no? Pwede po siyang pamalit. Mas marami pa siyang words. At yan ay mag-show ng originality sa inyong composition. Vocabulary. Also, vocabulary, wala tayong masyadong warnings dito. You just have to avoid too simple and too complicated words. When you say too simple, it becomes cliche. Like mga sayings, mga quotations. Time is gold. Pinakaya pang iba. Yun na lang. Health is wealth. Iba. So, it's something cliche because it has been overused. It lost its meaning. It doesn't have any meaning at all. Nah. So, gas-gas na ang meaning. So now, what simple words do we have to avoid? Good, bad, happy, sad. Bakit? Very common. Lagi natin naririnig. Good morning. Bad day. Happy birthday. Wala namang ibang word. Diba? So you have to change it into a much more, much less common word. Like, good, beneficial. Bad, negative impact. Change it into something that is less common. I'm not forcing you to use highfalutin words, ha? Kasi pag sinabi mong highfalutin words, pag naghanap ka sa dictionary, may mga kakaibang sobrang habang word like nonchalant, ano pa, neoteric, gargantuan. Sabi ni sir, huwag na akong gumamit ng words like big. Di ba big, masyadong common. Like, extra large lang na punong ko. Masyadong common. Big. Yan. Large. Yan. Sabi, isang gargantuan ko. Hindi ka naman maiintindihan ng kausap mo. So, it seems like you are forcing the word doon sa sentence. So, halata, lutang siya doon eh. Para pinagtabi-tabi mo yung mga bata, tapos may isang matanda doon sa gitna, kitang-kita siya. So, for the formality level, instead of using gargantuan, humongous, diba? Neoteric, flabbergasted, use much more formal words. Use simple. Sabi nga ng British Council, advice nila mismo yan. Use simple rather than complicated words. Because sometimes if you force complicated words, it just brings your essay into a less pleasant one. Imagine na yung mga naka-8 ko na yun na estudyante, common words ang ginamit nila. Hindi sila nagpuwersa gumamit ng mga kakaibang word. Yet, they got 8. What more can you achieve if you follow this instruction, right? So, anong mga i-avoid sa vocab? Repetition. Sabing repetition, paulit-ulit. Ang topic mo about society, binilang ng examiner, people. Okay, 12 times ginamit ang people, 5 sa vocabulary. Kasi overused eh. Wala namang ibang word. You can use individuals naman. You can use persons. You can even use pronouns. Them, they. So, in using pronouns, this is just a warning. Guys, look at me. Pronouns pa lang po, napaka-particular na natin. No? Ang ginagamit natin pronoun is always the third person plural. Why? Because our samples, our target audience are third persons. Plural. Children. Sila yan. Bakit? Children ka ba? Kasama ka ba doon? Hindi, di ba? O, ang topic mo tungkol sa criminal. Sabi mo, we? But criminal ka ba? Di ba hindi naman? That's yung point. The topic is about the impact of this task to others. And when you use examples, use plural. Kasi pag ginawa mo siyang singular, ito yung problema, criminal. Tapos sabi mo, he. Bakit lalaki naman pala yung criminal? He/she. When you overuse slashes or ors, it makes your writing appear silly. Kasi masyado naman na-overuse yung mga slash symbol. So, para nandun pa rin yung smoothness ng pagbabasa. Pluralize your samples. Use third-person pronoun to address them instead. Making your structure much easier. Avoid yung mga we, hindi ka kasali. Avoid yung you, hindi naman sa examiner ito patungkol. Tungkol ito sa ibang tao. So kayo, magkausap tayo, hindi you, hindi we, tungkol to sa akin. Gets? Okay. Gets, tapos we. Ano mo, okay. Gagaling yan. You. Bawal pala. Ulitin ko lang po ha. Bawal po ang we, us, our, you, me, mine. It's much better to use a third person plural pronoun, them, they, their, provided that you will pluralize your noun as well, because noun pronoun antecedent is also a thing for grammar. Okay? So yan, sample. Alam ko, wala akong tissue. Yeah, the threat of nuclear weapons maintains the world peace. Nuclear power provides cheap and clean energy. Do you think the benefits of nuclear technology far outweigh the disadvantages? This is another. New technologies affect. New technologies have changed the way children spend their free time. Do the advantages outweigh the disadvantages? This is another sample. The new technologies have changed the way students spend their free time. Do the advantages of this outweigh the disadvantages? But before you write your essay, before you draft it, you have to brainstorm, which means that your essay will require inside of your own essay writing brilliance. Therefore, you have to ask yourself dozen questions and answer them. Meditate with a pen in your hand, think of great concepts, pick out the best ideas. Break the task into parts, do some research, and always be informed. What do you believe? There's no correct opinion. Like McDonald's is better than McDo, or and than Jollibee. Jollibee is better than McDonald's. We have different taste buds. Magkakaiba tayo ng gusto. So wala pong tama o maling opinion, but make sure that in the context of IELTS, your opinion has a wall that you can depend on. Meron siyang batayan, meron siyang basehan. Bakit siya naging opinion? Valid ba siya? O hindi? Kaya kasi sabi, ang opinion ay valid. No? So general format, full block, wala na po siyang indentation. Ito sample GT letter ito. No? So we have here the spaces between paragraphs. Ayan. So for a computer-based test, you have to press the enter key 2 times so that it will leave a space. Okay?
Do not cut words. Ano po yung cutting ng words? Sino-shortcut eh. For example, si international, ginawa mo INTL. Kailangan buuin mo siya. Or si Philippines, ginawa mo siyang ganyan. Hindi pwede. Kailangan complete, na? No shortcuts. Tapos, yung contractions, alam mo, ginawa mong can't. Yung cannot. So, mali din. Mga don't, mga slang terms. Gonna, wanna, yeah, cause, YOLO, mga ganun. No riz, no cap. Mga bagong terms sa mga Gen Z. No? So, no rewriting of task description. Actually, some students asked me during my most recent writing task to lecture. That was 2 weeks ago. Tama. To what extent? Yeah, 2 weeks ago. Sabi nila, sir, pwede bang kopyahin ko na lang yung task description? Anong sagot? Pwede. Pwede. You want a score of 6 or lower, you can copy the task description. Sa iba, okay na sila. Sa 4.5, sa 5, sa 5.5, sa 6. So, kaysa pahirapan pa yung sarili, click na lang kopyahin yung task description. Magandang referencing method kasi yan. Now, if you want to improve your chances, this 6 can now get 6.5 up to 7. You need to provide at least 4 to 6 new words from the task description into your own introduction. Bakit? Pag tinignan ng examiner yan, sabi, kinopya mo lang yung mga words. So, hindi masyadong deep ang lexical resource. Therefore, baba ang lexical resource mo. Baba na. Ngayon, kung nagpalit ka 4 to 6 new words, no, ibig sabihin sa kanila na, may genuineness factor, may originality. So, gawin natin 6.5 ang vocabulary. Yeah. Now, if you are going to combine adding 4 to 6 new words with paraphrasing, so you completely overhaul your task description to come up with your own introductory statement, then this will achieve a band 7 rank, which is exactly what I'm trying to recommend. So when it comes to paraphrasing, it's actually easy. You do a combination of 2 techniques. First is the rewording. Sabi nga, palitan yung words. Pangalawa, switch the sentence structure. Remember what I taught you about female mosquitoes bite people? People are bitten by female mosquitoes. Do that and then change the words. That's it. Sabihin, siya pa rin siya. Yung identity niya, palit lang siya ng pwesto. Pero the meaning is still the same. That's the beauty of English sentences kasi you can switch them up with their respective places, but they will still produce the same. Or you can introduce it into your own words. Pwede din. Like, this is the lead presentation that brings you into this topic. So, it's actually going to work quite well. So, I'm going to give you an example naman, which is, yeah. So, for the introduction, about 2 to 5, actually, I don't do 5 sentences. For me, 5 is the limit. 4 is actually the upper limit. Pwede na tayo sa 4. 30 to 50 words. Introduce the theme, topic, general idea of the prompt, and then your stand. So, again, how are you going to write your introductory paragraph? It is composed of 2 parts. Your introductory statement and the stand. Once again, I'm not saying that the statement should only be 1 sentence, but it could be up to 2 sentences. Para ma-reach mo yung 2 to 5. Again, I don't want you to write 5. It's okay if you're going to just write 3, like 2 introductory sentences, tapos stand, okay na tayo doon. Goods na. So, andun tayo sa limit ng 2 to 4, ha? Okay? No overkill. Baka naman introduction mo pa lang, Diyos ko, naglilitan niya ka na. Huwag naman ganun. Kasi, when it comes to coherence and cohesion, examiners have this secret. Tawag natin din yung aesthetic. So, we keep on hearing the word aesthetic. But so far, hindi natin mag-gets. Ano ba ibig sabihin ng ganda? Diba? Maganda lang. So, ng aesthetic. Actually, aesthetics has something to do with measurements. With balance. Balance and measurement. That is what aesthetics is. So if you're going to look at Miss Universe candidates, di ba? They have similarities. Their body measurements, meron silang specific measurement. Di ba? Nagets yan? Kasi unang tingin, boom, isang glance, isang mabilis ako glance. Maganda, pogi, pangit, cute. Bakit? Bakit may ganun tayong idea? Di ba? Bakit? Kasi when we look at the facial structure or the body structure of someone, there's balance. And for us, balance is beauty. And examiners also use this without them knowing that if your arrangement of sentences is well balanced, then that means you have a better coherence and cohesion. So if your introduction is short, because basically introductions are supposed to be short, and the body should consist of the bulk, yun dapat ang makapal eh. Now, look at this. Your introduction is as thick as this one, like 10 lines, tapos yung body mo, tigta-tatlo lang. Where's the balance there? Where's the aesthetics? Wala. It fails under that category. So may ganun din po tayong konsepto. Nakukuha. Kaya nakapasabi stand. Ano ba yung stand? Again, out of the 5 instructions in writing task, 3 of which are considered under the opinion category. They are agree, disagree, to what extent do you agree, disagree, and do you think the advantages or with disadvantages, which all require stand. Stand is the opinion upon which you have to justify later on the body of your essay. Therefore, it is a very essential part of it. So, if we're going to say yes, kasi again and do you think sinigang is delicious? Yes. No. I'm more of an adobo kind of guy, diba? So again, there's no right or wrong opinion. You need to state your stand. If you say yes, if you want to say yes, ito yung sample. I think the advantages outweigh the drawbacks. Sorry, ayoko mag-yes eh. Kasi no ako eh. Team no? Okay. Then say, I do not believe that the benefits compensate for the disadvantage. That is a simple way of responding. Either yes or no. So again since we are trying to consider vocabulary, tingnan niyo nangyari. Sabi dyan, do you think the advantages outweigh the disadvantages? Nagpalit po tayo. Instead of yung disadvantages ulit dito, pinalitan natin siya ng drawbacks. Or instead na advantages dito, tsaka outweigh dito, pinalitan natin itong dalawang part. At meron tayong mga options ng mga words. Pwede mong gamitin to. Ayan o. Huyo. Kukumbine mo na lang yan o. 9 versions ang pwede mong magawa from this. Picture pa, mabubura din naman mamaya. Selfie mamaya. O, tapos picture ng mamaya. Saan na nga ba yung araling ko? Nakalimutan. PDF ko mamaya, basahin nyo. Oh, I am in favor of the idea that there are more advantages than drawbacks. I am in favor of the idea that the benefits outweigh the negative outcomes. I am in favor of the idea that the positive effects compensate for the disadvantage. Ayaw mo nun? I support that book. I support that point. I support that points. I am in accord with the notion doink. I'm in accord with the notion doink. I'm in accord with the notion here. Ikaw na bahalang may mix and match. Pupilin mo na lang. Saya, no? Ang dali. Handa ko na sa inyo. Okay? Bayad yan. No? Kaya sulitin yun. So, ibig sabihin, so introduce ako ng konti. Which is, papakita ko mamaya kung paano gawin. Tapos, inasalpa ko tong stand. Ngayon, sa stand, kung yes ang sagot ko, eto lang. Yes. Nakuha po. Eh, paano kung no? Meron din ako niya, no? Sa no, 18 versions po ang pwede nyo i-produce. So, pagtatapat-tapatin mo lang yan. Dito. Saka to. Tapos pwede rin naman, sabihin mo, there are more disadvantages than benefits. Balik din mo siya. Instead of saying, I don't think that there are more advantages. Sabi mo, there are more disadvantages naman. Nakuha? So yun po yung dalawang version natin for yes or no. Bawa sa tingin mo, yung technology, mas maraming kasamaan kaysa kabutihan. O de, I do not believe that there are more advantages in using technology in children's education than drawbacks. No? Ang standing. Sa madaling salita, isip ka, yes ba ako dito o no? Pag yes, ito pagpipilian. Pag no, ito naman ang pagpipilian. Pili na. Tapos, pag nagpa-check na naman kayo ng writing, wala naman ako makikita ng ganyan. Galing niya eh, no? Sarili kayo review center eh. Google Review Center. Facebook Review Center, tsaka TikTok University. Diba? Tsaka mga Reels Review Tutorial Center. Galing, no? Okay. Parang di mag-i-exam eh. Walang pressure eh, no? Okay. Merit, ano mga synonym ng advantage? Kung gusto mo siyang i-overhaul completely, alisin mo talaga yung advantage dun sa sentence na yun. Merit, benefits, positive outcomes. Sa disadvantage, downsides, limitations, drawbacks. So si benefits at saka si drawbacks para sa akin, ang mas madalas kong gamitin. Again po ha, during the last quarter of the year, including November, nasa November na po tayo hanggang December, mas malabas pong lumabas ang mga tanong na to. Kaya nga po, talagang inilagay ko to sa November dahil i-expect natin, nalalabas ito to what extent, open-ended, saka yung agree-disagree, discuss with peace, mas malabas yan sa first quarter ng taon. At yun yung mas madaling part. Pag nasa dulo ko na ng taon, mas mahirap yun. Mahirap na instruction, mahirap pa mismo yung topic. So, that's just an idea. Again ha, this is not to give you any negative feels about the upcoming exam. Kasi it all boils down to how prepared are you. Kasi kahit pag-examine mo ng bungad ng taon yung di nag-prepare, pag-examine mo yung nag-prepare sa huli ng taon, mas magaling pa rin yung nag-prepare. Hands down. It's all about a matter of how much effort you put into your practice. How hungry or how thirsty are you for this score? Show me, show us, show yourself. Make yourself proud. Don't just be, let's watch TikTok. Let's watch YouTube. Watch your replays. Study your handouts. Do some practices. Have it checked during coaching sessions. Okay? Clear? Okay. Something ka masaya? Sa body, wala pa akong ano. Sige, before I make a sample introduction, let us first put our focus in the arrangement. Kasi sabi ko nga, di ba? The logical arrangement of your ideas into paragraphs and how you put them in their proper places is what matters when it comes to coherence. And considering the cohesion, this is where you use connectors. Tama po? Now, sir, I answered yes. What am I going to do to the body? So the arrangement now, since you answered yes, sa Tagalog, ang sabi mo, oo, nainiwala ako na mas maraming mabuti kaysa masama. Paano mo ipapakita sa body kung may tatlo kang body? Pakita mo na mas maraming ang mabuti, may dalawa kang nabibigay, may isang masama. Nakuha po? Nakuha? Okay. Madaling ipakita yung imbalance eh. Kasi imbalance po, naka-add number tayo dito. Ang body paragraph mo ay 3. Body paragraph mo ay 3. Yan. So sabi mo yes. Dapat dyan may dalawang mabuti at isang masama. Napatunayan mo ba doon na na-outweigh nga ng advantages yung disadvantages? Kasi dalawa eh. 2 is 2. 2 versus 1. Nakuha? So may outweigh, may imbalance ang naipakita. So sir, is this the only way how you can arrange a yes answer? Actually, no. Pwede ka rin kasing mag-start with the negative. Tapos, tsaka mo ngayon siya bigyan ng dalawang benefits. Ganun pa din.
meron ka pa rin isang disadvantage. Meron ka pa rin dalawang advantage. Nandun pa rin ba yung outweigh or imbalance na gusto natin pakita? Na mas maraming mabuti kaysa masama. Yes. Ang hindi lang po natin gusto is yung isa-sandwich mo sila. Na ito yung mabuti sa umpisa. Nagpasok ka na ng disadvantage, tapos may advantage ka na naman. Ang hirap po kasi ng transition niya. From one positive, moving to the negative, then moving to the positive again. Yung reference mo sa positive, nandun pa sa 2 paragraphs prior to it. So, ang hirap ng connection between the two. Malabo ang magiging connection. And even in transition signals, you would be using a lot of contrast. So, which is not a theme sa isang yes statement. So, para po sa context niyan, ganyan po yung arrangement niya. So, 3 paragraphs for the body. If yes, therefore, 2 paragraphs must be put on the positive note and only 1 paragraph for the negative. So this is how you show that there are more advantages than disadvantages. If you're going to put it in structure, ganito po ibig sabihin yan. May dalawang paraan para makapag-produce ka ng yes. So ganito siya, intro. Ando na yung yes sa last sentence. Advantage. Paragraph. In addition, advantage mo na. Tapos, disadvantage. Conclusion. Hindi lahat. Si discuss both views tsaka si open-ended. Si discuss both views, fixed na 4. Si open-ended, it depends. Pwedeng 4, pwedeng 5. Tuturo natin yan some other time. But, do you agree? To what extent, and including this one, do you think the advantages or the disadvantages ay lagi pong 3 paragraphs sa body, bringing the total of paragraphs for the entire essay 5? Okay. Yan. So, ganyan po yung magiging arrangement po niya. So now, since you are showing a positive correlation between these paragraphs, yung umpisa na to, mag-i-insert ka ng connecting device. Tama? Which is either, eto na nga, nag-a-add ka. Ano po yon? In addition, furthermore, dun mo siya ilalagay. Moreover, kasi nandun ka sa same note eh. Yan. Now, pupunta ka sa disadvantage, from an advantage perspective, opposite naman po sila. Therefore, gagamit ka naman ngayon ng mga words that show contrast. Tulad ng, in contrast, on the other hand. Now, sa bawat huli, sa bawat dulo ng paragraph, again ha, we are imagining po yung mga blocks na yan as paragraphs. Sa bawat dulo na sentence or second to the last sentence, if that's where you want to put it, we put examples. So kung dito may example ka, lagay mo yung for example. Kung dito may example ka, maglagay ka ng for instance. At para hindi mo maulit yung mga yan, pwedeng to illustrate dito. Now sir, question on example. Dapat po ba lahat ng paragraph sa body may example? Actually, ang rule ng examiners dyan is that for the entire essay, there must be at least 1 sample. Meaning, you don't have to put a sample for every body paragraph. Example. Pwedeng ilagay mo ang example mo lang, isa lang po ang example ko, sa body paragraph 1. Pasado ka pa rin ba? Yes, kasi under their condition, isang sample lang sa entire paragraph, buhay na. Paano kung nilagay mo yung sample sa gitna? Regardless, kahit saan mo siya ilagay. Basta meron ka isang example, buhay ka na. Eh sir, paano kung sa huli? Again, that is exactly what I want you guys to understand. 1 sample for the entire essay, regardless of where you place it, you live, you survive. Now sir, paano kung 2? Better. Paano kung lahat? Even better. Because you can now
control the content. Ang idea mo na dyan, here's the idea, here's the explanation, here's the example to back my claim, and then here's a summary. That is a legitimate paragraph for the advantage. For the disadvantage, you can also follow the same ruling. Kuha? Okay. Sir, yan lang po ba yung way para gumawa ng advantage? Again, tulad nung pinakita ko po kanina, meron po tayong isa pang paraan, which is ito. Pwedeng mauna yung disadvantage, tapos yung dalawang advantage sa huli. So, ang appearance niya, magiging ganito. Nauna yung disadvantage. Dahil mag-move ka from disadvantage to advantage, gagamit ka dito ng on the other hand. Tapos advantage ka ulit, furthermore. Tapos sa conclusion, in conclusion, to conclude, in summary. Pwede. Nakuha po? Clear po tayo? So this is how you arrange. Okay, gusto nyo picturean? Sige. This is how you arrange your paragraphs for writing task to essay kung yes po ang sagot. Pwedeng left ka, pwedeng right. It doesn't matter. This is how you arrange it. Ang hindi lang po pwede, si disadvantage papunta sa gitna. Because if that happens, the transition between paragraphs become very absurd. Magiging magulo po, chaotic ang lipat-lipat ng idea. Nadaming masyado yung contrasting agents mo, which is not healthy pagdating sa isang essay writing. Okay po? Clear? Questions? Wala. Yes. Sa isang paragraph, hindi naman ibig sabihin na sa isang paragraph, isang transition signal lang talaga ang gagamitin mo. Actually, if you can use your transition signals more frequent, that will even be better. The problem is, pag in addition ka kasi sa gitna ng paragraph, here's what happens. So this is the topic, the advantage of using computers to children's education. Making research faster. Tapos in addition ka sa gitna. Tapos yung in addition mo, is hindi na siya making research faster. It's about making school activities better. So, pareha silang nasa advantage, pero magkaiba na silang idea. So, pag in addition ka, pwede mo siyang gamitin only to transition a very long explanation. Yun lang siya. So, pwede po kahit nasa loob na po ng sentence, ng paragraph, meron kang connector, which is sinasuggest ko talaga, wag lang maging limited ang transition signals per paragraph level. Pwede rin siyang sentence level. Kasi nga, besides being known as discourse markers and transition signals, tinatawag din kasi siyang subordinating conjunctions, which is sentence and paragraph level ang pwede niyang i-connect. So, gumamit po tayo ng mga connecting device, hindi lang sa umpisa ng paragraph, kung hindi maging kundi maging isama na din po natin ang mga pangungusap na nasa loob mismo ng paragraph. Okay na okay. But just make sure na nandun ka pa rin sa plano mo. Ito lang dapat yung content. For example, kung advantage lang ito, talking about the faster research process. So, nag-introduce ka, ito siya, mabilis ang research. In addition, pinapabilis pa niya ang research. Kung kadagdag lang din yun, okay na okay. Huwag lang siya mag-iiba ng idea, although they are on the same category. Yes. One paragraph must have one main idea. Kasi if you will have multiple ideas in one paragraph, it makes it masyado siya magulo basahin. Hindi siya intact. Basag, kalat ang magiging natin. Pag no naman po, eto naman po. Ibig sabihin, kung sabi mo no, naniniwala ka na mas marami, problema na idudulot ito kaysa sa positibo. Tama ho ba? Nag-no ka nga eh. So, ibig sabihin, naniniwala ka na mas maraming negatibo. Paano mo ngayon aayusin yun? Ito na. Drawing, kulay-kulay. So, kung next, no ka po, no? So, mas marami kang disadvantage. Nakuha po? Ganito lang siya. Ito pa yung isang halimbawa. Pwede ka mag-start sa dalawang disadvantage. Tapos yung advantage na sa huli. Tell your friends. Casual. Casual now. Damn. That's how you put it. So since parehas pong disadvantage ito, no? Moving from this to this, parehas sila. Tsaka gagamit ng in addition. Furthermore. So from disadvantage to advantage, saan ka naman gagamit ng however. Nakita po, pag nagbago ka ng kulay from a certain color, if you're going to change color, if you're going to change theme, magamit lang po ako ng kulay for visualization, but that represents yung tema ng paragraph na yon, nagamit ka ng contrast kasi you're transitioning from one positive, negative, or one negative to positive. Magta-transition ka na ng contrast. Kuha po? Okay. Picturean nyo, kung gusto nyo. Ano? Question so far? So, meron din po tayong version yan sa PDF mamaya. Ito yung isang version, positive, positive, and negative. Tapos, gusto mo ano yung negative? Sure. Tapos, meron kang twist sa gitna. Ito na yung mga positive niya. Kuha? So, bawal ha. Ayan, nakalagay na may angry emoji pa. Pag yan pa naman, hindi nyo pa sinunod, ewan ko na lang ha. Kasi mga Pinoy, titigas ang ulo talaga. Bawal umihi, bawal pumasok dito, one way. Pipilit. Baka pwedeng diskartehan ko na lang, sir. Puro diskarte eh. Kakadiskarte. Nakaka-permission na ng iba. So sa no naman po, ito po yung ating version. Pwedeng magsimula ka sa negative. And then, pwede ka rin mag-positive. Tapos, the two negatives will come later. But ang hindi pwede is you sandwich the lone positive argument you have within the body paragraph, which is like this one. So opinion is essential, ha? One of which you need to support. Remember, support stand with sufficient evidence to refute the other side. It's wrong to write it depends. You have to be direct. Here's my opinion. I think there are more benefits than drawbacks. Kukopihin nyo na nga lang. So, sometimes, you have to choose between two things, from your mind or from your heart. Remember, you are being assessed. So always ensure that the option you will choose is worth discussing for. Because imagine, when I asked you this question last time, who are in favor of death sentence? Even I raised my hand. But if we are talking about proponent of death penalty in an IELTS context, there's no evidence showing that if we put a death penalty in a country, it will help control the crime, because our data even shows that in Canada, when they had their capital punishment, their crimes were 3+ for every 100,000 population. But when they removed the capital punishment, wala na. Silang capital, wala nang death penalty sa bansa nila. They are at the most peaceful era. Only 1.91 crimes committed per 100,000 population. So we have data. Bakit ka pabor sa capital punishment? Kasi ganito eh. Where's your data? Where's your proof? Where's your fact? Where is your reference? That's why we have to read to be updated. So again, I am still in favor of
capital punishment. Paglabas ko dyan sa examination, woo, capital punishment. But what did I do during my writing? I opposed it because the data shows otherwise. Capital punishment is not essential to control violence in society. Proof, we have Canada. Proof, we have even the Philippines. No? In some states in the US, have capital punishment, some states don't. If you compare their crime rate is actually much higher to those states with capital punishment. What does that imply, right? So do your research. Yes. Sometimes you have to go against your will, even. Kasi nga, this is what you can write more and what you can, this is the answer which will give you a much better argumentative with evidence. Well, the first thing that I have to, so we have a question here from the branch para marinig ng mga nasa Zoom. Is it possible to have a good, a decent balance if you don't know about the topic at all? That's what they're trying to imply. So here's the thing. Today's topic is about green wave shopping. Green wave shopping. Do you think that the advantages of green wave shopping outweigh the disadvantages? What's your take? Again, I don't know shit about green wave shopping. You see, that's a problem. The problem began with lack of preparation. We don't have an excuse. This is our exam, so you should prepare. So, sir, paano kung wala? Like, green wave shopping is my topic. So you have to conceptualize what the hell is green wave shopping. First, what is associated with green? Kasi iba, green, green-minded, mali, manyak. No. Green has a connection with the environment. Wave, sabing wave, like the K-pop wave, like a heat wave. Ano yan? Panandalian, sumikat mabilis. Boom, nag-boom. Yun yung wave na tinatawag. Sabi, environment wave shopping. Ibig sabihin, environmentally inclined shopping. Sikat ba siya ngayon? Yes. Kasi we want to support the environmental integrity. So, ano ibig sabihin nun? Na bumibili tayo ng mga produkto, sumusuporta tayo sa mga kumpanya na tumutulong sa environment. Halimbawa, nakalagay, part of your purchase goes to helping the save rainforest in Amazon. So, bibili ko na itong tubig na to, kahit mas mahal to ng 5 piso kaysa dito sa tubig na to. Kasi itong tubig na to, galing sa kumpanya na to, alam ko, hindi to tumutulong sa environment. Ito, may nakalagay sa sticker. So, nakakatulong ako. So, mas marami bang benefits yun kasi disadvantage? Oo. So, yes, ako mag-ibig. So, pag hindi po natin kaya na maintindihan, read between the lines. You have to understand the context of what the topic is about because we don't have any help during the talk. Well, we also don't want to fabricate ayaw din natin magsinungaling. 8 out of 10 Filipinos are poor. That's opposite from the data. So, ang mga examiners po kasi na nag-check sa atin, they are deans of colleges of prestigious universities both here and abroad. So, if we're going to tell a lie, we will definitely know. So, kaya nga, yung examples, nilalagay natin siya as those facts. But we don't argue using examples. We argue using statements. We explain in a way that doesn't involve you fabricating stories. Because if you do that, examiners would know about them or you're lying, coherence and cohesion, negative. Kaya nga, read. It's difficult to even 1 out of 5 test takers submit their tasks under length. What's the reason why? Kasi they don't prepare. Because they don't prepare, they didn't anticipate that questions will be hard. Hey, I don't know a thing about green wave shopping. How can you possibly write a 250-word essay about it? It's difficult, or it's impossible for someone who were just introduced to the concept. Ano mangyari? Bagsak sila. Yun yung dahilan because they didn't read questions. They didn't read newspapers. And they didn't even bother reading sample essays. So the difference between you guys and them is that you know that questions will come instantaneously. They will appear. Some questions will be things you know of because they are general ideas of the general public opinions, etc. And the problem is there are some topics like green wave shopping, which is also under the general consensus, but some of us don't know since we are not bothered by them. Hindi tayo masyadong particular sa ganung topic. Hindi natin sila interest eh. Kaya hindi tayo masyadong involved sa ganung topic. So again, we have to rekindle this interest na okay, I have to start reading questions so that I may know na topics pala like this exist. So that if this comes, this will be a problem for me kasi baka hindi ako makapag-produce ng 250 words. Therefore, I need to do step 2, read newspapers about it. Yes. And then read essays as well. And then attend classes. And then, ultimately, doing your practice, having it checked during coaching session. This is a process. So, okay? It will be difficult to get a decent answer. To answer the question short, it will be difficult. Yes, exactly. I will be showing assignments here. Type it if you're going to do the computer-based test. You need to type it, you have to print it, show it here. Gets? Pwede. Sino merong mga assignment? Isa lang? Ikaw din. Di ba kala ko, ala kayo, papagalitan ko na naman kayo. Kasi pumasok kayo last week. So every after lecture, I give, hey, this is your assignment, have it check text. Yan. Laging meron. Okay. November, December, hanggang January kayo. Di pwede kayo magpapos. Kasi nga, we encourage students to undergo 10 coaching sessions, at least 5 healthy na. Pero yun nga lang, if you want a very high score, like you're looking at 7 or higher, you have to do more. But again, it all depends on the candidate. Like if I'm good in English to begin with, and I check your initial papers, hey, it's actually pretty well done. And then the next time, kakaroon na tayo ng background. Ganito kasi yung comparison namin as coach. Ito yung una mong ginawa, sablay, okay lang kasi lahat naman tayo. Umpisa, hindi naman galing. Then the next time, nakita ko, oy, from this point, like si ma'am, natandaan kita, nagpagawa ko ng writing task 1, nag-submit siya, hindi ito yon, ulitin mo, inulit niya, ginawa niya, nag-improve. Nakita natin, from 0, you became 6.5. So from this transition, from this improvement, how long will it take you to reach this level? Doon namin ibabase. Kasi ngayon, ma'am, siguro mga mahuhulaan ng gano'n. Kasi wala pa akong background, wala pa akong reference. So I don't even know who you guys are or your name. So hindi ko alam, hindi ko siya masasabi. Unfortunately, I have to use data as how good are you the first and second time for me to compare your growth between the two. During, yes. This is the only thing that I'm refraining myself. Hey, you know what? You take the exams tomorrow. Or no, don't take the exam, please. You're only going to embarrass yourself. I'm not going to do that. The choice is always in you. Ayoko lang pong masisi. I will not give you any opinion whether you can take your exams or whether you can't take your exams. It's all up to you. you can use my subjective and objective assessment as guide to decide. Hey, Sir Kevin said, my score is already consistent. I think I'm already prepared. You can use that as a guide for your decision, but not the deciding factor. Again, it will not come from me. I will never tell you, hey, for example, hey, don't take the test. Because we all have our free will. Some people kasi, sabi ko, parang ayokong pag-examine yun, tapos nag-exam, tapos ang taas, di ba? Or gusto kong pag-examine yun, tapos nag-exam, tapos ang baba. So sometimes, our correlative judgments are different because at the end of the day, examiners are people too. And what situations happening here could potentially be a different situation that could happen on the actual exam. Baka meron kang blessing ni Lord during the test, di ba? Na-receive mo, tapos ang galing-galing mo sa test. Ganun eh. So, mga other factors na unseen, hindi natin alam. Okay? Alright. Questions? Other questions? Ano ba? Parang sakit ng ulo niyo. Ano? Tanong ka? Tatawa ka dyan. Natatawa ka dyan. Saktan niya. Okay. New technologies have changed the way children spend their free time. It's not about the way how your abuelas spend their free time. Na, hindi po ito sa kung paano nyo ginugugol ang malayang oras niyo. Kung hindi, kung paano ginugugol ng kabataan ngayon ang malayang oras nila. Dati, nanay ko, sipag-sipag ngayon, nagkik-candy crush na lang. O hindi nanay mo ang topic dito, huy! No? It's about children. So, if you're going to make a comparison about this topic, children in the past without technology versus children today with technology, what's the difference? Huh? Isipin mo, okay, put yourself in a situation nung bata ka. No? Pero nung bata ka, anong mga pastime activities mo? Wala pang tablet nun eh, no? Wala pa. Ano pa? Ano? Basketball? Tumbang preso? Mga text? Blessing pang gano'n? Olen? Akit sa bayabas? Katuhan ng barila na gano'n? Nakuha? Sila ko sa ilog. Ngayon, anong ginagawa ng mga bata? May kumelon. Gadget. Computers. So, what's the difference? Did it affect the way? Did technology affect the way? Does technology affect the way children spend their free time? Because it's a huge stretch, it's a huge difference from doing those activities, climbing trees, being muddy and all, playing with other kids. Yung sipon, may sipon na, may putik pa yung sipon. Diba? Yung mga leeg ng bata, dati, yung tinatawag na black gold. Black eh, itim eh. Dalawa pa eh, no? Yung mga bling nun eh. Ngayon, ano mga alam ng bata? Roblox. Ayun na nga, katawagan ko yung tropa ko eh. Kasama yung anak niya na, may gana ko nanaginip Roblox. Minecraft. Yeah. Diba? Ngayon, may advantage ba yan? Siguro. Kasi, yung panahon natin ngayon, it's, saturated by technology. Sabihin, kung hindi naman natin sila exposed doon, magiging mangmang sila paglaki. Nag-gets niya yan? Para silang caveman na isinalpak mo dyan. Ano ba ito? Galing naman ng door automatic. Mangha-mangha. Doon lang sa mga basic na yan. Paano magmamit ng ATM. Hindi alam kung may doon ng kita. Nag-gets niya yung point. So, may advantage yun. Pero sa pananaw ko, parang mas marami disadvantage kesa advantage. So, paano ko papakita yun? Ang sagot ko dito, no. Nag-gets ha? Paano mag-arrange ng no? Advantage is advantage, or advantage, this. So, paano yun? Anong disadvantage ng new technology sa pag-spend ng free time ng children? Lack of socialization. Hindi na sila nakapag-interact sa kids, the other kids their age, which is going to be healthy for their personal development. Kasi psychology-wise, meron tayong mga kailangan ma-achieve for us to develop as a human being. And we are not reaching this potential because we are, or children are, they are much more inclined spending time with their gadgets than with others. Simply because they don't seem to get any interest on. Another, again, that's my first disadvantage. It's up to me how I'm going to explain that later. I'll show it to you how I'll explain that. Another disadvantage is health. Vision. Ito ka sa infrared. Kahit naka-OLED na yan, yung mga yan, because of the brightness radiating from the device, handheld consoles, syempre may mga kakaroon din ng mga wrist problems, lagi sila naka-keyboard, pwedeng carpal tunnel syndrome, no? Ano pa? Sedentary lifestyle, nakaupo lang sila, nakahukot, ganun. Mga banana shape mga bata. So, pwede sila magkaroon ng mga body problems at particularly overweight. Kasi hindi na sila masyado nagkikikilos. Tapos, puro junk food pa kinakain. Sabi na rin, hindi kasi namin naranasan yun nung araw. Kaya ngayon, papakainin ko ang anak ko ng mga hotdog, pasit canton, burger, chicken nuggets. Kasi mahirap lang kami dati, puro lang kami talbos ng kamote. Eh, nga healthy. Di ba? Gets my point? So, yun po. So, ang sagot ko dyan, no. Ganito ko siya titirahin. Sabi ko dyan, no. Which means, kailangan ko magpakita ng mas maraming negative kesa positive. Ang assessment arrangement ko dyan is positibo muna. Why technology affects the way children spend their free time on a positive aspect. O paano? Paliwanag mo, the skills they can acquire at a much younger age can be beneficial when they grow up. Example, employment. Kasi pag employment, gumagamit tayo ng tablet. Pag employment, gumagamit tayo ng mga simulations. Pag employment, gumagamit tayo ng mga tools like AutoCAD, Excel, spreadsheets, presentations. Diba? Eh kung saan nila sila gumamit ng gadget, madali lang sa kanila. Kasi exposed sila doon at a very young age. Now, may negative. So, however, pupunta na ako sa kabila. From the positive note to the negative note. However, negative argument, how does technology affect how children spend their free time? Well, unhealthy. It leads to the sedentary lifestyle. So, paliwanag mo paano? Paano naging sedentary yon? Because they lack physical activities like playing games and sports with other children. And instead, they just stay indoors most of the time. Pag sinabing sedentary, naka-slouch ka na lang doon most of the time. So that's how you explain it. Now, body paragraph 3, another negative argument. Additionally, kasi from negative, magdagdag ka na naman ng another negative, it impedes their socialization skills and interpersonal interactions among kids their age. So it will also be a problematic aspect. So rules and example, as I've mentioned, arguments and reasons should be longer. Do not argue using examples. Again, your argument must be the explanation first, and then examples must come later. There's nothing forcing you to put examples every body paragraph. At most, there should be at least one example. So kung nasa body paragraph 1 yun, or 2, or even sa 3 mo siya ilagay, it doesn't matter as long as bare minimum, you achieve that there is one sample for the entire essay composition. So this is how I do introduction. Burahin ko muna tong sample para makita niyo siya how I do it from scratch. How I do it from zero. So, new technologies, papalitan natin to. Think of synonyms ng new technologies. Pwedeng advanced technologies. Tama ba? Have changed the way children, palitan natin children ng young ones, spend their free time, pwedeng utilize, free time, spare time.
So in this day and age, due to the saturation of advanced technology, the way young ones utilize their spare time is much more different than in the past. Although there are advantages to this, I believe it does more harm, which is mas marami daw negative, than good to these young people. So yun ang magiging introduction ko. Nakuha po. So eto na siya in writing. These days, the way young people utilize their leisure time has radically changed because of modern technology. While it can be argued that such development leads to various positive outcomes, I believe that the consequences associated with this trend far outweigh any of its benefits. So yun ang aking introductory statement for this type of question. So again you have this copy later as a PDF once I upload it sa ating Facebook group, Discord at Messenger. So please check it out later so that you can read it. Hopefully, you will be able to incorporate such techniques into your very own writing as well in the future, hopefully. So tingnan niyo po yung kulay-kulay, New technology, nasa umpisa, nilagay ko na sa dulo, modern technology na siya ngayon. So yung children, naging young people na siya. Yung utilize, naging spend. So na-achieve ko ba ang tinatawag na using 4 to 6 new words or synonyms? Na-achieve ko ba? Yes. At ginamit ko ba yung tinatawag na paraphrasing? Yes, pinag-switch ko siya ng place. Modern, new. Yan. Tapos yung aking stand, no, I believe that the consequences far outweigh any of the benefits. Body paragraph 1. Positive argument. Why technology affects the way children spend their free time. Sabi dyan, the skills they can acquire at a much younger age can be beneficial when they grow up. Example, employment. So ito siya. Admittedly, the use of technology during their spare time prepares children to adapt to the ever-changing world they are now living in. It develops the technical skills required to operate such pieces of technology as laptops, smartphones, tablets, and other devices. This can eventually be an asset when they grow up into adults and start establishing their careers, as almost all of the companies today prefer to hire applicants who are proficient in the use of technology. Hinahire natin, nakalagay doon, must be able to use Microsoft Word. So yun ang hinahanap natin sa workplace. So another, how does technology affect how children spend their free time, but this time on a negative note? So gagamit ka dyan on the other hand, however, in contrast, on the contrary, such trend of using gadgets occupying children's free time also leads to various negative effects. At bigay tayo ng example. For one, the use of technology is perceived to be an unhealthy practice, as children who uses technology devices for leisure do not get the chance to engage in any form of physical activity, such as sports or even outdoor play. This sedentary kind of lifestyle can lead to them becoming overweight, which can result into various health problems tulad ng cardiovascular disease and diabetes. At present, this is already alarming since obesity rate is more common now among children than it was in the past. Mas mataas yung obesity rate natin ngayon. And that is actually being one of the main culprits. Another, dahil from negative, magdadagdag ka ng isa pang negative, no? To show that there are more negatives than positives. So gagamit ka ng furthermore or over in addition to that. In addition, the frequent use of technology can lead to social isolation among young ones. Children who often spend their free time using technology are generally unable to develop their interpersonal and communication skills during this critical stage of development, as gadgets can deprive them of opportunities to interact with people. Nag-i-interact sila pero sa social media lang. Or even sa mga chat ng mga games, but not actual or personal interaction. As a result, it leads to the indifferent behaviors and other social difficulties in relating with others, which is now evidently seen among children, especially in more progressive countries. So for the conclusion part, you will now restate your stand. Meaning, you said yes in the introduction, you will also claim yes in the end. Or if you said no, this conclusion, If you said no in the introduction, your conclusion now echoes your no in the conclusion part. So kung ano yung sinabi sa umpisa, yun din dapat sa huli. You can also suggest, recommend some possible solutions here because quite naturally, what happened in, sorry, what happened in your task description is a problem. And they are just explaining what are the advantages or disadvantages of this issue. So since the issue is still left unsolved, examiners would appreciate it na, uy, naglagay siya ng suggestion. Paano mababawasan yung negative at may exploit natin yung mga advantages na? Meron bang ibinigay na solution? Yes. So if you do that, examiners would understand that, oh, this person cares. This person cares about the welfare of children. Pala. Kaya siya nagbigay ng suggestion, recommendations, and even solutions without them even asking for it. So, ilalagay mo siya sa conclusion. Kasi, conclusion, this is freelance writing. And, as a matter of fact, conclusion is one of the most crucial parts that many people fail to do properly. You see, if we're going to compare your essay writing with your previous birthday, simple lang, ano? Ilang taong ka na? 21, kailan ka nag-birthday? August. Ganito lang. Natatandaan mo yung birthday mo ng 3 years old ka? Anong mas masaya? Yung birthday mo ng 3 years old ka, yung birthday mo ng August? Siyempre, mas madali yung August kasi you can still remember it since it happened recently. Examiners would remember what you stated. Natandaan ako sa umpisa. Kaya, if they have this negative feel from the beginning until the middle, pwede mo siyang i-overturn, pwede mo siyang i-flip na, uy, convince? Ilan ba? 6.7 pang 7 kasi tingnan mo yung conclusion ko. Ang ganda. No, let's boom. May na-capture ang aking, na-captivate ang aking attention dyan. So, dapat 6.5 na talaga. Pero sige, 7 na lang kita kasi yung conclusion mo. That's what you have to also include and consider in writing your conclusion. So these are the vocabularies or connecting device or introductory phrases you can use for the concluding paragraph in conclusion, to conclude, in summary, to summarize. So, summary, although technology has transformed the way children use their free time, the disadvantages of this phenomenon outweigh the disadvantages. Again, echo. Echo lang din po yung sinabi ko sa umpisa. Kahit na nagbago ang pamamaraan ng kanilang pag-google sa malayang oras, mas marami pa rin talaga ang negatibo kaysa positibo. At yun lang din sinabi ko sa introduction. While it is a great opportunity to prepare the young ones to adapt to modern life, it can also result in them having health and behavioral problems in the future. This is a summary of what I stated in the body naman. Therefore, bigyan ko ng recommendation, it is the parents' duty to ensure that the balance between gadget play and personal interaction, which is what I want to emphasize, is achieved. Ganun po ang paggawa niya. Okay? Alright. Gagawa pa tayo. Marami pa. Marami pa tayong time. So, freedom to work and live anywhere in the world, advantage. Okay. So, ito po yung ating question. So, pakita ko lang yung mga words na pinalitan. People now, people now, people today, freedom, privilege, work and live anywhere, migrate due to development of communication and transportation. Because advanced transportation at saka better na yung information through technology. In my opinion, although this trend is negative, mas maraming benefits. So anong sagot ko dyan? Yes. Nakuha pa? Yeah. So ano expect natin sa body? Mas maraming positive kesa negative. So it's up to you, which one do you want to start with? So mag-start sa negative muna or lagay mo siya sa huli? This as long as you will put the two positive besides one another. Yan. Positive, negative ako. So by using modern technology like the internet,
Many individuals can be employed elsewhere besides their country of origin, especially if there are more opportunities. From the requirements, application, and even ticket bookings, they can easily do so through the use of their gadgets. For example, nurses in the Philippines who are, look at the word I'm using, severely underpaid can apply for work abroad by checking the requirements online. By doing so, they can compare which places can offer them more competitive salaries. As a result, these workers can earn higher wages, which will enhance even their home country origins economy. Kasi magpapadala sila ng pera doon there. So positive, another positive, gamit ako ng in addition, pwedeng furthermore, pwedeng moreover, technology makes migration a lot easier through the development of different modes of transport. In the past, people traveled by ships and wagons, which took months. In comparison, a trip from New York to Japan now only takes roughly 14 hours. This ease of travel enables many people to work as soon as possible, and because of this, they can earn right away to provide for their families back home. The remittances will then be used to pay for bills and other necessities. On the other hand, ito na nga po yung negatibo. Continuous migration can lead to many difficulties for both the migrants and the families. Ano pong ibig sabihin nun? One problem is brain drain. Ano ibig sabihin ng brain drain? Like nangyari sa pandemic, naubusan tayo ng mga nurses, alis sila ng alis. So, wala tayong professionals. Dahil mas maraming opportunity, mas malaki ang sahod doon. So, why would I risk my life here kung thank youhan lang naman ako at sasayawan lang ako ng TikTok ng mga admin ng ospital, eh doon, meron akong hazard pay. Nagigets mo yung point? Dito sa Pilipinas, walang ibinibigay na allowances. Tapos nung nirelease yung HEA, allowance sa mga nurses during the pandemic, patay na yung iba, yung pa na binigay. So, one problem is brain drain when a country suffers from severe lack of professionals since many employees now prefer to work abroad. Another is displacement of culture dahil magkakaroon ng mixed customs yan for individuals who migrate. In relation to this, self-identity problems become common as well, and it becomes much worse due to homesickness. Problem. In conclusion, there are many benefits that freedom of working abroad bring to the migrants and to their families. However, people should not forget that we can also use technology to avoid its consequence for a much better future for everyone. So this is my conclusion. I typed it live 2 years ago. In 23 minutes, number for it's 304. So, okay, nagawa ko na to before. Ito hindi pa. So some experts believe that it is better for children to begin learning a foreign language at primary schools rather than secondary schools. To the advantage of this outweigh the disadvantages. Questions po pala? Baka meron. Sure kayo? Wala? Galing nyo naman. Dahil wala kayong question, ibig sabihin na iintindihan nyo lahat. Kaya kong gumawa ng dalawa. Aga pa naman. So Zoom, we have Carla, Myra, and Renalyn. Iba na naman ata.
Sans? 7 straight pa eh. So guys ha, ako'y sisinga muna. Bye. Ikaw. Eh, 7:47 ako nag-start. The learners, then disadvantage. This is my introduction. So magiging body 1. One of the main advantages of learning a foreign language during early years of study is that this will remain much longer in a child's skill set as compared if this is done much later. The reason for this is that during primary years, children is undergoing their brain's development much faster compared to other life stages, making this easier. Therefore, gaining its benefits much longer. Sabi ko na much longer. Until later in their life. For instance, if children begins, or children naman, young people, if young people studies other dialects like English and Mandarin, they will easily adapt to them and will still remember how to communicate with these languages even when they grow older. Body 2. Sa pang-advantage. Moreover, another benefit of learning or of incorporating foreign languages in the school curriculum in elementary years, rather than waiting much later in high school, is ensuring that learners can utilize and enhance such skill for more amount of time. They will be able to communicate using other dialects and perhaps be experts in this field, helping them prepare in a applying for employment abroad, as many countries today speak and use multiple languages. Their communication process. Disadvantage, body 3. On the other hand, since children have so many subjects in their primary stage, acting foreign language class would be difficult for them to juggle multiple tasks at the same time. This means that young learners have to deal with subjects or classes like mathematics and science, which are complicated lessons on their own, adding another difficult, no, adding another new, adding a new and unexplored subject to them could potentially make them lose interest in one or the other. This is a negative outcome if we want, if it's a negative outcome if children need to become well-rounded individuals in the future. Kasi mamimili lang sila, hindi nila kayang pagsabay-sabayan. Conclusion. In conclusion, although incorporating a foreign language subject in elementary education will prove beneficial, especially in today's modern world. I believe that elementary years or that primary years must also foster children's welfare. So as not to make them even more confused. In line with this, gradually introducing subjects including a foreign language is what we need to achieve. Okay. Tapos na ako in 9 minutes. So number of words, magbilang tayo. Pasok ba siya sa 250? Naka 362 ako in 9 minutes. So magbabawas ako ng konti para hindi overkill masyado. Probably sa introduction conclusion. So that's how you do it. So for our participants, your assignment will be, hanap tayong iba kasi napagawa ko na ata yung isa. Teka. So for your assignments, note. Yan. New whiteboard. Text. May text ako dito. Okay. Aha. Yon, in many cities, learners tend to, lalakihan ko yan later. Yung isa, health services are a basic necessity. However, private companies have made them quite costly for individuals. Good advantages of private healthcare outweigh the disadvantages. Ito lang, pili lang kayo. OA naman pag dalawa. Gusto yung dalawa, wala nang problema. Okay lang naman. Challenge yourself, di ba? Basta make sure na you will be using 40 minutes for each. So I have 2 samples for you to choose and do your magic. So once again, if you want a full recap of today's lecture, look no further, but just wait for the link. Ang ipopost ko pong link ay number 1, yung replay link ng YouTube video ko na ito. Number 2, yung PDF, yung presentation ko kanina. And number 3, yung orange book where you can find more than 140 questions from all the 5 types of instructions. And that's about it. That is the end of our discussion. Okay, assignment noted, sir. Okay, Myra, bye-bye. All right.